All right, let's finish this little fella up. Okay, now this is where we got to be careful. Come up to the tip up here. And I'm going to barely take slivers off of this thing. There we go. See, just barely scraping it. Almost like a scraping motion. See this? Watch. You can do it with a scraping motion. And you're not applying enough pressure to cut yourself or anything like that, so. Tell you what, that just about did it right there. Just that little scraping motion. Look at that. See, just take a little bit off at a time. Just a little bit. And use your thumb, folks, as a guide. Not a guide, but as a leverage. And the tip of your knife. And look at that, see? Well, what we want to do, we'll make it just a little bit thinner for me. Okay, you don't have to make that thin, but I'm going to make it that thin because I want to. And people, I've had to learn this myself over years. I've broken many of pieces. I'm going to tell you something, learning. But then that's how you learn. You learn that way. Same thing here. I'm going to kind of come up on the beak. Because basically the crane or the shorebird is going to be painted white. And the beak's going to be painted kind of a brown or whatever you want to paint it to be. So I'm just sort of separating this. It's sort of an abstract type deal. There we go. People go, oh, keep fooling that beak, you're going to break it. No. I just keep getting a little bit thinner and a little bit thinner. And yeah, I could break it. You're right. I'm not perfect, folks. I've broken stuff before. See how lightly I'm doing that? It's very, very lightly. Okay, I'm going to stop now. Okay, here you go. Okay, now let me finish this up in here, folks. I'm in so much with the beak. Gotta take a little bit more off in here. There we go. A little bit more off in there, and then when I go back and clean it up, I'll do a lot of that. But we're just basically finished with our two pieces. And like I said, they set, there you go. Now if you want to put eyes in them, you can. The piece that I saw did not have eyes in them, but if you want to, you can. It did not have eyes on them. Let me Now you can stain these, but I like the way that they were done. And what you do, and we're going to do it, I mean, what you do is what they actually are, they're standing like this, in other words. And there's a pole, excuse me, a rod going through it right here, and a rod going through it right there, and that's the way they're standing there on the thing. Okay, well that's our pieces that we carved, our two shorebirds that we carved. And that's a good project. I said it's an excellent project in learning how to do that. I want to show you one more thing before you go. A lot of times when you get down to areas like this on the beak, when you wet the piece, look at this, watch this. When you wet the piece, excuse me, it's not as easy to break. Do you know that? If you wet the piece a little bit, it sort of softens it. And look at that. You do it so much better. Look at that. See? It makes the wood, the basswood, pliable. And look at that. See? You just kind of, where it's not quite as brittle, because it softens it in more of a, I'm not going to say a rubbery type thing, but so if you ever get to areas like this and you just want to wet it, you can wet it, and it's not easy to break on you. See, I'm being serious now. That's an old trick. A lot of people use a combination of alcohol and water in a spray bottle, and they spray it on their carvings, and it helps them. It helps them soften it a little bit, the grain, where it's not quite as brittle. And the same thing here, when you get down in these areas, wet it. Just try it. That's what I like to do. I'd like to try a thing. Just wet it, try it, and then you'll have, and look at that, see? When it's wet like that, it makes it more pliable. It doesn't make it as brittle. And look, see? I had to hold it last time, didn't I? Should have showed you that, but I didn't. I am now. Okay. There we go. See that? Alright, there's your two pieces right there. And that's the way they're gonna fit. That's the way they're gonna go. And this is our project, the two shorebirds. And we're gonna do another shorebird. The same way, almost like that. But this has been good. Okay. God bless you now. Good project. Good project for beginners especially. And then we'll paint them and get through with them. Okay. God bless you now. Been a good session.